Hey, Eric.
Hey, John.
How are you tonight?
Starting a little late because we were watching some NASA TV.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Something fun, in fact.
Yes, we will elaborate later. So,
yeah.
How was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was great. Yeah, I think I mentioned last week that we were going to be going to the symphony on Saturday night, which we did.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Game On, and I gotta say they played a lot of music from games that were too recent for me to have really known and enjoyed. So it was things like Assassin's Creed and The Witcher, or is that it's a movie? Is it both? I don't know. They did play one thing from World of Warcraft, and they played something from Portal, which was cool. Anyway, it was really enjoyable. It was great, and it was cool to see kind of a skewed younger audience at the symphony too. Let's say, which was fun. And the conductor made a point of saying, you know, most of the time you have to be careful about when you clap or not. And so we just want to say up front, clap anytime you feel like it. And
very nice.
He clearly he clearly enjoys games as well. And there was I'm a little confused, and I was a little frustrated that they didn't have info in the program, because I think there was something about him being responsible for some of the music from Civilization 5 and 6, which I have very much enjoyed. But anyway, they had a bunch of credits at the end, and maybe I should have just recorded it on a big screen. But I haven't seen a list anywhere of the movies or of the music that they actually played. But anyway, we had a great time. That was cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm trying to remember what I did Sunday, but I don't remember. I know I tried to turn an acrylic pen and I failed, so I tweeted a picture of that. How about you? How was your weekend?
So I got down into spring cleaning in earnest.
Oof.
Even though it's February and not technically spring, I got bit by a bug, and so I've been cleaning my office and going through I've been getting rid of old cables. I have hundreds of USB cables, for example. I got rid of box. more than half of them, because am I really ever going to need 73 USB-B cables?
How many printers do you need to plug in simultaneously?
Yeah. No, I have them split to micro, mini, and the B. Yeah, I've got, yeah. So anyways, but in the process of doing all my cleaning up, and I've actually been kind of doing this a little bit for the last several months, but this weekend I really kicked it up a notch, we'll say. And I got some audio cassettes that from like 1973. So from when I was a little kid, like baby, me talking to grandpa and my dad in the background. Found a few of those tapes, found some tapes when I was over in Spain that I recorded and sent home. I stumbled across my old Digital 8 Handycam that used the Digital 8 tapes, and thought, hey, I should try to pull those in and digitize those and put them on the Plex so that the family we can have all these home movies. As I have probably 50 tapes, and I don't know what is on half of them aren't even labeled.
Sure.
So they may have nothing on them. And VHS. And so anyways, I went to say, yeah, I have the cable, because I remember doing this with I had an old graphite Mac. You remember the old bubble Macs?
Oh, sure.
Which had a FireWire 400 port in the back, and Sony, doing what Sony does, they had their proprietary iLink FireWire cable. And so I pulled out the cable, and then you know what I don't have on my laptop?
Anything but USB-C?
A FireWire 400 port. And you know what also I don't have on my laptop?
USB.
A FireWire 800 port. You know what else is not on my laptop?
Okay, now I'm going to give up.
A Thunderbolt 2 port.
True.
So I have joined Dongletown, and I don't know what's going on, but I have the iLink to FireWire 400 cable, a FireWire 400 to FireWire 800 adapter, a FireWire 800 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter, and a Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3 adapter.
Oh my gosh.
And it functions.
And it works.
It works. I have been enjoying Dongletown and taking a stroll down memory lane.
You'll have to take a picture of the chain o' dongles to throw in the podcast notes.
Yes, I will.
That's similar to that something fun I had a couple of weeks back with the 20 megabyte hard drive connected via SCSI to SCSI 2 to whatever they did next to USB-C. Anyway, kind of functions. Oh, you just reminded me. I don't know how or why. What happened Sunday was like a football game. That's what I did on Sunday. I watched.
Oh yeah, there was some sports ball on Sunday.
Yeah, one. Does this ball go in a hoop or through a? I don't know. What do you call it? Uprights.
Yeah, it's the one sport. My favorite tweet is there's a Twitter account, Terrible Maps.
I follow it,
and it's got a map of the world, and it's got the United States highlighted, and it's a map of countries who have won the Super Bowl.
I love Terrible Maps. That's a great one. Oh yeah, I did. I did use it as an excuse to eat some chips and tapioca pudding. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get into the security portion of the Mostly Security podcast. What do you?
Let's get over with it quick to get to something fun, though.
Okay.
So
that's right.
This is not a follow-up technically, but it's the breach of the week. Did you see
I noticed your post in Slack, but I didn't actually read the article.
So the breach is breach at Indian Airlines SpiceJet affects 1.2 million passengers. And the interesting thing about this, so it's unfortunate that isn't the interesting part of this article, the fact that it exposed this. The thing that was interesting to me about this article was the security researcher who described, I'm reading now, who described their actions as ethical hacking, but whom we are not naming, that's in the TechCrunch article, as they likely fell afoul of U.S. computer hacking laws, gained access to one of SpiceJet's systems by brute forcing the system's easily guessable password. An unencrypted database backup file on the system contained private information of more than 1.2 million passengers of the budget carrier last month, et cetera, et cetera. So this one was not an open bucket. It was behind a password.
But something that they were able to credential stuff.
Yeah, it was apparently easily guessable. So
my password has a capital P.
And the @ sign for the A. That's extra.
01.
Tricky.
01.
So there's your breach of the week, and guessing passwords probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
All right. Well, breach of the week. It's kind of sad that it's been pretty easy to find a breach of the week for the last number of weeks. We haven't even really been looking.
No.
All right. What do you got for a topic?
All right. So the article I pulled out this week was actually forwarded to me, sent along from a friend of ours, Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
It was a CNET article titled, "This Company Could Turn Every Home's Camera into a License Plate Reader." Now, you know that I have the Ring cameras. I've mentioned this before. I have the Ring cameras. They're pointed kind of at all my entry points to my home and in the garage. And I don't really have them. I don't have them inside the home really. Because really I'm just, if someone's going to come in or out of my house, that's who I am interested in. They're not pointed at the streets. But this company sells a lot of their solution and technology. I think we've actually even talked about them before, probably a year ago now, to law enforcement for doing license plate reading. They have software that will go out and do license plate scanning, and it allows the police to track, certain cars if they're stolen, if they've been seen by these. And the fear to this one is they are now selling this to the public. So it's not a service they're selling to businesses or law enforcement. They're selling it to anyone who has a camera that points outside their house and can essentially turn not just the cameras that you have around your house to see, make sure no one steals the packages off your porch. Now they can take a picture of the license plate of the car and who owns the car of the person who walked up to your house and stole the package off your porch. So I don't really have a whole lot, I guess, really to say about this. I was wondering more, like for me, I don't know if I am as afraid of this as some of the people in the article talk about, privacy. We're turning the world of cameras into global surveillance for the police. Like you see the comments of the Amazon Ring video doorbells that police departments can have access to if, the user grants their local police station access to the data from their Ring cameras, or at least the doorbells. So my question, I guess, would be to me is, well, that I would ask myself is, would I want this? I think initially my reaction is no, pretty much because for me, you would have to pull into my driveway for it to be able to read a license plate for where the cameras I have, the security cameras I have on the outside of my house. You'd have to actually pull into my driveway. And would that matter? Would someone who's going to come steal the package off my porch actually pull into my driveway? I don't know. But where you live, kind of out in the not suburban area, would you want something like this to have not only a record of that a car showed up, but potentially, hey, this car showed up and it's a stolen vehicle?
Potentially, to be honest. I'll give you an example that it was relayed by a friend of mine the other day, which was, he also lives out in the country, and he came out a few weeks ago and found a whole bunch of beer bottles in a pile next to his driveway, where kind of clearly someone had kind of come around a corner and kind of got where they were out of the road and
Right.
had a little get together. And so he actually put up a trail cam and a big sign that said, "Smile, you're on camera," and has since noticed a couple of people coming in, seeing the sign, and leaving. So that seems like the sort of thing that, it might be nice to be able to do something like that on a personal basis. But I think where I would draw the line would be signing up for something like this public service where, if you're sending them your footage for them to recognize, then they'll have a log line of the location, the camera, what the video image that they used for recognition, the square of the license plate outlined, and what the license plate was, if for no other reason than similar to the voice tubes saving recordings and having them listened to by people to see it, and
Right.
check for recordings or anything else, and anything that is available online is also available for subpoena, for example, and or just for you might pay, and I don't know this Recor systems, but you might pay them $5 a month for this service, but in reality, then they may be able to turn around and sell or provide as a service to other people, aka police departments, here, let's put in this system to flag. Let us know if you see this on any camera anywhere in the entire system. And I don't know, that's a little too big brother for me. But there's certainly, I could easily see myself setting up a trail cam, having video that I save myself and that I use the open source software. It looks like it's called OpenALPR. I assume that stands for Open something license plate reader.
Automated license plate reader.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
So yeah, I mean, I there's not a ton of people that come down my driveway, other than ourselves and our neighbors. They tend to be Amazon delivery folk.
Yeah.
Which I feel more than a little bad at, given the fact that I have free Prime delivery and like multiple things show up every week. And yeah, anyway. But so I guess that's where I would kind of draw the line. But it's a little bit of a mix of I want to watch you if you try to come onto my lawn, and stay off of my lawn. So yeah, that's and I don't have any of the Ring cameras, but I do have the Ring doorbell, which is essentially a camera. All right, let's see.
What topic do you got?
I have a couple of them. The first is a WebEx flaw that allowed anyone to join private online meetings. So I know that you and I have used WebEx. For anybody who might not have, it's a meeting software that is used by businesses a lot for, conferencing. And sometimes these days we do a lot of video conferencing over WebEx, but it used to just be phone. But one of the lovely things about conferencing these days is that you can join from your phone, you can join from your laptop, you can just dial in via like the cell phone app on your phone.
Right.
But a lot of people just dial in like from over the network and use their headphones and don't actually use it as a phone. But anyway, so this vulnerability allowed anyone, even if they didn't have the meeting password. So you can secure a meeting by a meeting password. But if you have a secure meeting and you're able to join without the password, that would be
an insecure meeting.
Hypothetically bad. Yeah, you could have somebody listen to whatever you're doing, and I'm sure there's sensitive conversations being had between people all across the world on WebEx every day. But the deal with this was that there was a particular workflow where the password wasn't requested, so it would allow a attendee into the meeting without providing the password. And it was not if you join on your laptop, not if you join via the app on your phone, but if you go to the browser of your phone and try to join, the browser would then basically launch the app, but bypass the password screen and drop you right in the meeting. So, it was basically, it's a path problem, right? So
right.
Any software of sufficient complexity has multiple routes to get to any particular action, and this is where many flaws are found. So,
yeah, but like those software though, you can see who's on the meeting list if you're paying attention. So you would look and go, who is unknown so and so potentially.
Yeah, I mean, so there.
Unless it's a meeting with hundreds of people.
In reality, this wasn't even really a tempest in a teapot. I think that this kind of flew under the radar for the most part because Cisco found it themselves. So they disclosed it. They found it. They disclosed it. They said there's no, they don't know of it being used in the wild, but they announced it so that they could get a fix deployed quickly. So that's kind of the first mitigation. And then the second one, like you said, is, yeah, you can see somebody in the list. But my caveat to that would be that makes total sense and is a good defense of on a meeting with, like, say, 6 people. Hey, who's got that 555 number? Or somebody might be like, oh, well, that's John. Or then being the 555 number disappears. But not many WebEx meetings have a lot of attendees. If you've got 20 or 30 people on it, you're unlikely, or more, you're unlikely to even scroll down to see who's all on, because it's probably a kind of more of a broadcast meeting.
Right.
And you're unlikely to sort of know or even suspect. There go my dogs.
Coyotes.
Clearly. It's either a coyote or a siren. All right. My second article is one that I just saw today, and it wouldn't surprise me if there's a little more that comes out about this over the next couple days, or maybe it'll just like fade away and not be much of anything. But have you heard anything about the app that was being used to tally the caucus votes in Iowa?
Why, yes, I have.
Uh-huh.
I even had a quality conversation with my 16-year-old about voting and the importance of voting and the importance of being able to verify that a vote is correct.
Oh,
so
fancy.
Continue, good sir.
Fantastic. Well, just in the interest of voting and voting security, evidently I'm going to be talking at a conference in a month and a half about election security at
South by Southwest, right?
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's going to be fun. But so anyway, this was they had a bit of a snafu for reporting the votes from this, and the whole intent of this app was to collect the tallies from the caucuses around the state, and that was essentially it, I guess. But since they were, and even as of at least this morning, and I haven't looked this afternoon or this evening, even as of this morning, they still didn't have all the information in. This is at least for the, I don't know if there's a Republican primary as well, or if there's just not any challengers, but the Democratic stuff is the only thing that I've seen. But anyway, they don't have all the data in. So, this is the sort of thing that you had one job, right?
Right.
Like literally super simple app, hypothetically. And they had to interview with the owner of the development shop that developed the app too. There's some quotes from him in here. And he says his quote is basically, the point of the app was to help temporary precinct chairs do the math, get good results, and submit the numbers. A simple function, basically a calculator. We made it really simple, hypothetically. But the comments from, this is an article on, it says Vice, but then it says Motherboard asks six cybersecurity and app development experts to analyze the app. And there are some choice quotes in here. Basically, well, I mean, this isn't a positive or negative. It was a React Native app. So something that basically you get to write, and then it's a project by Facebook that lets you basically build a mobile app that will work on both Android and iOS. Kind of cool. But it says it's very, very off-the-shelf project, skeleton project, plus add your own code kind of thing. And the quote, "It looks like someone Googled things like how to add authentication to React Native app and then just followed the instructions." Which, okay, I mean, that's half of programming these days. How do I X? Stack Overflow, cut and paste the top answer. so awful.
Yeah.
So bad. But anyway, evidently, according to the CEO, the confusion occurred on caucus night because they had a problem entering the results. Basically, they're doing some sort of ETL. What does ETL stand for? Extract, transform, load? Something like that. Sorry, it's been a while. They're basically copying data from their own backend where they collected the data from each committee chair and putting it into the Iowa Democratic Party's processing system, and they had some sort of data formatting error. So I'm going to go with they had UTF-8 and it was only accepting ANSI. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway, a couple of the other comments that the security researchers had was that there were things like a hard-coded API key inside there, which
helpful.
Well, I mean, what's the point? Anyway, if it's your own API, that doesn't. So pretty much no, though. If you have a hard-coded API, it's not really much of a barrier between anybody being able to submit anything to your backend, if that's
right.
what the API key's for. So that would mean, that would imply at least that you could submit data to the backend without having to authenticate. Although there was another comment down below that said to properly log in and submit results, caucus chairs had to enter a precinct ID number, a PIN code, and a 2-factor identification code, each of which were 6 digits long. So I have questions.
Well, did you also see that the caucus chairs were tweeting pictures of their caucus papers, which in the upper right-hand corner had the PIN number on it?
No, I did not see.
Picture sent out on Twitter. So there was a little, OPSEC not being very well followed either.
Oh, my gracious sakes. So what about the 2-factor? When they say 2-factor identification code, what does that like? I'm sure they weren't using Google Authenticator.
I have no idea.
Right? Yeah. So I pardon me while I remain a little skeptical here. Although the user interface aspect of this, which says we saw a lot of people entering their precinct ID instead of their PIN in the PIN slot, there were some issues not knowing where to put what credential, which is a difficult thing to design around. Yeah, having to sign in with 3 different 6-digit numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, I can okay. It drives me. This is the sort of stuff that drives me insane. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, now people are saying, "Hey, don't use this app." I mean, like my general thing around just election, at least for voting, is verifiable paper ballots. So period. Like that would be my thing is.
Yeah, and that's actually the conversation I had with daughter number 2 there was they had talked about it at school and whether or not it was a good thing. And despite the fact that I think this kind of is a big black eye and can be blown out of proportion, the positive aspect or the aspect that people seem to lose or not pay attention to is this does not mean the vote was rigged.
Mm-hmm.
It was a software failure, and they had paper backups.
Yeah.
So the correct vote
that was fine.
Will eventually show up. Yeah. So
and the important thing in paper is that it needs to be voter verifiable. Like
right.
There needs to be a way that I could verify, but still anonymously, that my vote was counted the way I made it. Anyway, our Senator, Ron Wyden, has been kind of championing this cause for the last couple of years, and I would like to just put my support behind him. So,
yeah,
there we go. So Alex Stamos, who used to be the Facebook security guy until they didn't let him do security, and so he quit. is
That's one way to put it.
Sorry, that's probably not how he would phrase it. Not that he'll ever listen to this. But yeah, anyway. He says he's down at Stanford now. Our message is that apps like this should be developed in the sunlight and part of an open bug bounty. So, just especially for public service things like this.
Yeah, and
open source.
Yeah, there was lots of. I saw there's been a lot of stuff on Twitter around this and the whole concept behind this, and there hopefully there is something constructive that continues the conversation in a constructive, positive direction that helps us get to the point of you're not going to solve all your election problems just by using a blockchain or by using other things, right?
Right.
Hopefully this helps bring to light some of the issues that security and especially election security people have been talking about forever. So
yeah,
I wish I could be at South by Southwest to see your speech on this, because I think this is important just in general.
I'll let you see the slides. I promise.
I'll make you practice in front of me before you head out.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right.
Well, how about something fun? Something fun happened not too long ago.
Well, I am pulling a John here.
I see this.
And
this is like
I'm
five
going the
funs.
extra mile. I have a fun fact.
Okay.
I have a fun video and space. So, my fun fact.
Okay.
Is that it's from Australia. So the title is NSW and Victoria just jumped 1.8 meters north. And so if you were not aware of this, the Australian plate moves at, 7 centimeters northeast every year. And so if the last time you set up your GPS precisely for Australia was in 1994, you're now 1.8 meters away off from where you used to be. And the federal government of Australia has invested money to get their GPS accuracy up to 10 centimeters. And so if you're moving 7 centimeters a year, eventually you're going to be off. So that's just a fun fact.
Wow.
That
7
we
centimeters.
think of GPS. If you use GPS as the ground truth, which I think more and more a lot of people do, they look in their maps, their whatever, they're trying to get somewhere, and it's off. That's kind of a reminder. Hey, not only is GPS not exactly accurate, it may not be because the satellite moved. It may be because your continent has moved.
Wow. Wow. So we need like leap seconds where the maps all follow
auto adjust.
Follow the plates every month or every day or every whatever. Look at that.
Exactly. So isn't that a fun fact?
That is a fun fact. Okay. Gold star for fun fact.
There's my fun fact. Now, my fun video.
Okay.
And this one started out really fun, and then it got updated to be slightly less fun.
Oh,
so
bummer.
Anyways, there's, a famous video from 1896, a train arriving at a station. And so it's old footage. I've been looking at old footage myself around here, so this one caught my eye as well. So a low quality copy. So a person took that video and applied a neural network to upscale it to 4K quality. And it is amazing the difference you can see. So this article that we'll link has a YouTube video of the original, you've seen really old movies where people kind of walk choppy and not smooth and everybody's kind of fuzzy. It got upscaled using a neural network and machine learning, AI, and used AI to upscale that image to 4K. And you can see people walk smooth. It's just really kind of cool. So you got to watch both videos. And the reason why it isn't as cool is the original article said they applied this neural network to the low quality copy of the 1896 film and then upscaled it. But apparently this person had actually started with a higher quality scan of the film, but still not 4K quality, and upscaled it. But still, it looks really cool.
So he didn't have to go from 240 by 480. He was able to go from a little bit, I don't know, 1,000.
Something slightly higher
something
quality.
better than that. Huh.
But still, the difference is noticeable, and it's kind of cool to watch the train arrive at the station, the people walking to get on the train in original and 4K with a neural network applied to it. So there's my fun video. So I got a fun fact, fun video. There's my fun video. And then finally space. Right now, while we were talking, and the reason we started a little late was we watched the Soyuz space capsule detach from the International Space Station, ready to return to Earth.
That's right.
So about an hour ago, it detached and started heading back to Earth. And in about an hour and a half, an hour and 12 minutes, about an hour from now.
Or about 2 days ago from whoever listens to this.
Yeah. As we record, about an hour from now, it will return to Earth. And in it has the record-breaking NASA astronaut who has spent almost a year in space, the longest woman ever in space consecutively, and part of the all-women spacewalk, first ever all-women spacewalk. So she gets to come home. So that's my third something fun. I think I may stay up late and watch NASA TV for the actual re-entry and everything about midnight, I think it's going to be, or 1 a.m.
That was super cool. And yeah, I might, I don't know if it's, I'm kind of tired. I'm not sure I can make it up. And I have an early start in the morning.
I'm sure you can watch the replay in the morning.
Yeah. We'll see. Okay. But yeah, that is definitely something cool.
All right.
So you made up for me.
Top that.
Because I do not have a long something fun tonight. I have a one-word something fun in our notes, which is Picard. So, because I mentioned a couple weeks ago, we were watching the Star Trek movies to kind of catch up so that we could watch Picard. And so that's actually what we did tonight before.
The CBS TV show?
Yes. So CBS, it has an all original, I don't know. Do you have to have all access to do it, to watch it? I don't know what it takes.
I assume so. But someone told me that they put it on YouTube for free.
Really?
At least episode 1, they put to try to suck people into.
First one's free.
That's right. So you watched it?
I did. We watched the first 2 episodes tonight. We had
and
a lovely dinner in front of the TV. I am happy the 3rd episode is coming out tomorrow, and we will probably be watching it tomorrow night. They were fantastic. I'm super happy. I always did love Patrick Stewart. I thought he did a wonderful job, and yeah, we were big Next Generation fans.
Yeah,
I would say when I was growing up, except that I was already grown. But yeah, we watched a lot of Star Trek Next Generation, and they did a good job. And I honestly didn't know what to expect at all. So I actually didn't even realize. I mean, I guess I knew it was going to be a Star Trek thing, but the fact that he was on a vineyard, I thought it was going to be more like sort of personnel drama. Like, I don't know. What are those English things, English shows that everybody's happy about that I've never seen any of? Like
Downton Abbey?
Yeah, there we go. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting there's trouble in the vineyard. I'm not a doctor. I'm a herbologist. I don't know. So anyway, but it's very interesting so far. I'm looking forward to the next one. So that's my something fun at the moment, and which is kind of going to be kind of weird for me because I don't watch that much TV.
My wife and I watched Star Trek Insurrection. So one of the movies, the Next Generation movies.
Yeah.
And because we did this, we watched a lot of Star Trek Next Generation, early on before we had kids, and I don't remember the movies being as corny as they are right now. Watching it again,
that one was particularly corny.
It was rather corny. So maybe we'll try a different one. Or
well, we just watched First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis. They were all pretty corny. Like there's little corny parts. They give them. You gotta roll your eye sockets back 20 years. So
that's right.
Anyway.
All right.
Well, that's something.
That was fun.
All right. Let's go watch some NASA TV.
All right. Have a good night, John.
I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.
Bye.